Hi, I'm Alvina Ling.
And I'm Grace Lin.
And we're book friends
Forever!
We're childhood friends
Who grew up to be
a children's book editor.
and an author and illustrator. Yay!
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the Two Topics, Asian Parents and Gratitude Chains episode.
And check out our website, bookfriendsforever.com, and our Instagram and YouTube channel at bookfriendsforever_podcast.
Grace, how have you been?
I have been okay. This morning was kind of a frustrating morning. As listeners know, I'm going to be going to Hong Kong and hopefully China in the spring. And Hong Kong is because I'm going to go visit the international school there. And as part of that, I had to get like an FBI identity checkup, like make sure I'm not a criminal. And so part of that is getting my fingerprints done. So you can get your fingerprints done at certain post offices. So yesterday I called a bunch of different post offices. Most post offices didn't answer the phone, so I couldn't find out if they did or not. But one did in Greenfield that said they did it. And Greenfield's about 30 minutes away from here. And online, I found a post office that's about, I'd say 15 minutes from here that said they did, and then I found another place. Then another website said they didn't. So I was like, should we risk the 15-minute place or go to the place that's 30 minutes away? And I was like, well, I know for sure that the 30-minute away place does it, so let's just go there. So this morning, Alex and I drove all the way to Greenfield to the post office to get my fingerprints done, and when we got there, the person who did it just did not know what they were doing, and they're like and I was there for like 15-20 minutes trying to get fingerprints, and they're like, the machine's not working, I'm gonna turn it off and restart the whole thing, come back in like 10 minutes. And we're like, okay. And so we went to a cafe, we had a nice coffee, we gave them 20 minutes, we came back, and it was another person, and she's like, I don't know how to do it. And she tried, like, it doesn't work. We can't do it. Go. I was like,
my
okay.
gosh.
And it was so frustrating because that's like 2 hours of our time, at least. And then as we were driving back, Alex was like, well, let's just try the post office that's 15 minutes away that had accounts that said maybe, maybe not. And on the way there was like this detour. Anyway, instead of it being 15 minutes away from us, it turned out to be another like 30 minutes because of some kind of weird traffic thing.
Yeah.
But we got there, and it was seamless, and they did it right away.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that was a happy thing. So, but it was like a 3 hour,
but at least you got it done.
yes, at least we got it done. One of the things that was interesting, on the way, there was really bad traffic to the second post office, and at one place there was all these cars parked on the street, really weird, and we're like, what's going on? How come people don't know how to park? Like we couldn't
Was it a police station?
I thought it was, we were saying all these snarky remarks because it's all over, and it made a two-lane road into a one-lane road, and I was making all these snarky remarks, and then we finally got there. It was actually a food pantry,
Oh,
and
okay.
I felt really bad because all of a sudden I was like, oh, it's really busy because all the SNAP stuff has, stopped,
Yeah.
and so they're all coming there, and then I felt really, really bad about.
That's a nice little message though of like
Yeah.
don't judge, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh,
Although I thought,
don't
because
judge.
I feel like sometimes near police stations, at least in New York, like they park all kinds of ways. Anyway,
Well,
because they are the
yeah,
law.
yeah. I think I can't remember what we thought. We thought it was something. I can't remember, like something annoying that,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably like hot dog day or something, or something like that, or like
Oh,
free bagels or something. And then we're like, oh, okay. So that was a sobering reminder of of the world. And in fact, it kind of did put things in perspective. Like I was so grumpy about like, oh, 3 hours to get these like
Yeah.
fingerprints, and I was like, you know what? It's okay. So that was a saga, but in the end, I think it was probably a good lesson in being grateful, which is part of our part of
Yes.
our
Gratitude and patience, I
episode
guess.
today. I'm still trying not to freak myself out about the China trip. I've been sending inquiries to different tour places. I haven't heard from anyone except for one that's really, 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 really expensive. Maybe that's why they're really expensive because they're very good at they're very good at what is it? Public relations? Customer service. They're very good at customer service.
You
So
get what you pay
that's
for sometimes, I
yes, you get
guess.
what you pay for because they're like very on the ball. And then oh, the other thing that
Should
we
we ask our listeners if anyone knows of
oh
any?
yes, if anybody knows anything about uh I guess I'm looking for tour guides specifically in the Shanghai area. So if anybody knows any tour guides in the Shanghai area that could be really, really good and patient to take me to things that are slightly off the beaten path. I know there's lots of tour guides that will, I mean, we could set up a tour that just goes to, the Great Wall and all these things, but I'm looking for like very specific things. Like I want to go see these cat statues, like, because I have an idea of what I'm looking for my
I
book.
wish
And so
I can't remember who our tour guide was. What,
I
15,
know,
15 years ago? Was that when did we go? It was 2006, I think,
I
or 7.
know, I know.
But I feel like we had two tour guides, one in Beijing and one in Shanghai, and they're both
Yeah,
really great. Kevin, I think
yeah.
it was Kevin in
I
Shanghai.
think it was
But
Kevin.
what is Kevin up to?
Kevin, if you're around, give us a call, give me a call, or send me an email.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that we did was we went to IKEA
Oh, nice.
because I have this bureau in my room, which we've had since Somerville, right? And the
Oh my
drawers
gosh.
haven't worked since then. Like I couldn't close the drawers all the way for a long, long time. But there's something in me that felt like I can't get rid of it, because you have it's a big piece of furniture, it's a waste, and like. But one day I was looking at it, and I was like, I can't even close the drawers. I'm 50 years old. I deserve a bureau that works. And so I'm like, Alex, let's get a new bureau. And so we did, and got rid of the old one. And I'm like, oh, the
Nice. It's the
drawers
little
work. So
things
exciting.
that make such a big
So
difference.
yeah. And also, lastly, but not least, is that I made a pronunciation guide for The Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon. A lot of
Mm.
readers were telling me that they wanted to, I guess a lot of teachers have been reading it, want to read it aloud to their students, and I think they feel a little self-conscious about the Chinese names. And so they're like, can you give me a pronunciation guide? So I actually made one with the help of my
Oh.
audiobook narrator,
Hmm.
who I had her just say all the names and I cut it up and I put it on my website. So if people are looking for a pronunciation guide of the characters' names, just go to my website and you go to the Gate the Girl the Dragon page and you'll see the link to the pronunciation guide. So
That's a great
that is
idea.
what I've been doing. So, how about you?
I've not been doing as much. I think the couple exciting things is I voted in early
Yay!
voting. And what's fun is I've said this before, I think, but if we when we early vote, our polling place is the Brooklyn Museum, so it's always kind of
Oh, fun.
cool to go. And they had a DJ out front and all these vendors. I mean, they have vendors normally. I think we went
Uh-huh.
on Sunday. So there's normally like vendors and food trucks.
Mhm.
So I don't think that was special for the early voting, but I think the DJ was. um, so that was fun. It was such a beautiful day too. And we were very excited to vote for Zoran Mamdani, our next
Yay!
mayor of New York City. Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah.
I saw an alarming headline saying that the early voting is looking against him or something,
Mm.
but Alex was saying like, I think most people who are going to vote for him probably have jobs and can't go early voting. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
just going to
he's,
cross our fingers for you
yes,
guys.
we're cross our fingers. I mean, I don't know. I feel it's so hard because I think the way the news works is it's so like I'm seeing all this positive stuff, but I know other people are probably
Yeah.
seeing a lot of negative stuff.
Yeah.
And Cuomo is just being really racist right
Oh
now.
yeah. I
And
saw some of that
that's,
too.
yeah, and that's really disheartening. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
some of the things he's saying could be disqualifying. Like, he should be
Yeah.
he should
That's what
like,
you'd think these days, right?
I know. Ugh.
But I think we've hit a level where, anyway, you
Anyway,
know.
yes. So, but that was great. And then Monday we had our LBYR Halloween party, which
Oh,
is
I saw
always,
the
yes, it's
photos.
always fun. Um, and I dressed up like the character Kala from Invisible Parade. And so that
That's such
character,
a
she,
beautiful book.
yeah. And what's fun is the character wears a skeleton onesie throughout the whole book, which is inspired by John Picasso's daughter, went through a phase where
Hmm.
she always wore this skeleton onesie, but it's just kind of a fun detail. And so
Uh-huh.
when I was trying to decide what I wanted to dress as, I thought that would be fun. I'm sure I could find a skeleton onesie. And sure enough, I found one at, for not a lot of money. And I thought I will wear this again. And she wears a red scarf. So I feel like those are
Oh,
two kind of
nice.
staple things that I
Easy.
can
Yeah.
keep. And so that was great. And everyone was so creative when it came to their costumes. One of the designers dressed as Forks, Washington, which is the setting of Twilight, which is funny. He just basically taped plastic forks all over his shirt. And then other people, most people dress as characters from books. So Christy
Hmm.
Ottaviano dressed as Little Red, which is a picture book that she has, which is it's a little red dump truck or
Okay.
pickup. It's a truck, like a
Yeah. Okay.
Christmas truck.
Okay.
Um, I think she's done two books with Little Red. So, but anyway, she had a great costume where she just wore all red, but she also had it was a lot of attention to detail. So actually, she won.
Uh-huh.
She won first place.
Oh.
But another designer dressed like the cover of a YA book that she designed called he's so possessed with he's so possessed with you. He's so possessed with me. I'm sorry. I'm totally like blanking on the book title. But the cover, it's a horror book, and the cover is like the scary like white hand with like these black nails squeezing a rainbow colored heart. And so she made the heart out of felt, and then she did
Ooh.
her nails and her hand to look like it. And I don't know, it was really, really well done. So, well, I guess when you work for a children's book company and you work with a lot of designers, they do a great job. So so yeah, that's fun. And then, I guess by the time this episode comes out, Halloween will be behind us, but
True. So at
we're
your party, do you have like candy? Like I'm trying to figure out you guys go trick or treating. Like do you go
no,
trick or treating?
I mean, we have snacks and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I will say that this year, and we're kind of discussing why is in the past there has been like a planning committee, and so there'll
Uh-huh.
be decorations and there'll be, people. Sometimes it's a potluck and people bring things. This
Yeah.
time it was not. There was no committee, and I think there was just,
Hmm.
some snacks, but there were no
Yeah.
decorations, which is a little sad.
Mhm.
But it probably was for the best because I think we need to figure this out for next year. But we did it in this big conference room, and I think in the past we've had like the whole conference area. This is
Hmm.
kind of it's our multi-purpose room, but in
Yep.
this case we only had half, and then there was actually a meeting. So we had it at 4 p.m. at the end of the day,
Uh-huh.
but there's actually another division was having a meeting with an author in the right next door, and they told us to quiet down. And Megan rightly said, that's impossible. Like this is a Halloween party. We can't quiet down. So we moved upstairs to a different
Uh-huh.
conference room that was kind of far away from people.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It
yeah,
seems like something good to have a committee for, just so you know that.
yeah. So anyway, but it's always still fun. And it's always great to just see everyone's costumes. So
Yeah. It's so much
yeah.
fun. It is.
Oh, and one thing else I want to mention, I meant to mention this last week, but I think 2 weeks ago, when we talked about book bans, I had talked about how the Georgia Peach state award list had removed some titles,
Oh, yeah, Samira's.
including Samira Ahmed's "This Book Won't Burn" from their state award list. And because of these teenagers having this petition, and they reinstated all the books,
Oh, that's
which is wonderful.
awesome.
So I just wanted to make
That's
sure
so
I mentioned that.
it's it's so frustrating that I mean, it's so heartening that the kids are fighting back, but it's so frustrating that they have to fight back.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because they're trying to slip in these things. Like
Yep.
if these teenagers hadn't noticed, if somebody hadn't noticed, it would have just gone. Like
Right. Yeah.
that's
So,
what's so
but it also
annoying.
is like just a great example
Yeah. Pay
that,
attention and do
yeah,
something. Yeah.
and that teens and people can make a difference. So,
Yeah.
thank you, teens in Georgia.
Yes.
All right. So this episode, we're going to talk about two topics that we felt like maybe were a little short to pick a full episode, but were too meaty to be in a chop suey. So the first topic is Grace. You had brought this up, so maybe you want to
Oh,
introduce the Ming Na Wen.
sure. So this just happened the other day. And I was just actually it was my husband Alex who was like, "Hey, did you see this thing about Ming Na Wen?" And then I saw it on my feed too, and it was this. I don't know, is it a tweet? Was she on Threads? I don't know, but she had shared on social media about how even though she is 61, her 90-year-old mother still insults her whenever she shares her achievements. And I just thought that was so poignant, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, so because she wrote, when when my mother can still trigger me with insults when I show her something I've achieved is a reminder of why I became an actor. Thank you for my fans and their love and support. And I guess so many people responded. Many Asian American fans responded about and really, really related about
Hmm.
like, uh, it's like, as a woman with a Chinese mother, this resonates. My mom can insult and compliment in the same breath, someone said, and all those things. And it's very, like I said, it was very, very poignant because my parents don't, well,
They don't
uh,
insult, right?
my father insults, but it's like insulting is not like a he thinks he's telling the truth, right? Like
Hmm.
it's like but it's so insulting. Like he's the person that will say, "Oh, you got fat," like
Oh, yeah.
like he's the person who,
Well, he's the one
like,
who put that comment on Amazon where he
yeah,
said,
better
better than
better than
expected.
expected. And then like, and when I won the Caldecott honor, it was just like he's like, too bad you're not good enough to get the gold. Like it's like
Yeah,
it's not
it's never
exactly
enough.
insulting, but it's like that kind of like, oh, okay, like no matter what kind of achievement you make, it's like that like not enough thing. And it's so poignant to me. And I was thinking about my conversation a couple years back with John Cho when at ALA,
Hmm.
and he was talking about how in Korean culture, which I think is indicative of most Asian cultures, parents see their kids as an extension of themselves, right? That's very different than here in the United States, where, I think we usually think kids, they have their own lives, they have their own futures, they have control of their own destiny kind of thing. But he was saying, and I think this is true of my parents in some ways too, is that parents think like whatever their kid does is an extension of themselves. So they feel like they have propriety to tell their kids what to do, what to say, and what to be and how to live their lives because it's really them. And so when they're really mean to their kids, they're really just being mean to themselves. So, which is probably indicative of like generational trauma as well. So I don't know.
I think what's interesting, I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, my parents are not what I would call kind of a typical or stereotypical Asian parent or
Yeah.
immigrant parent because but but their parents were. So my mom always talks about how her mother would tell her that she would never tell her that she was beautiful, and in fact would tell her
Mm.
that she was ugly. But maybe it's because she's a little bit of a rebel, but
Uh-huh.
so instead of treating her own daughter the same way, she treated me the opposite. Like
Uh-huh.
she decided I'm going to make sure to tell my daughter that she's beautiful and tell,
Uh-huh. That's so
and she
lovely.
has, and I
Uh-huh.
also feel like both of my parents are so proud of me, no matter what. And so I feel really grateful to have had that kind of supportive parenting. And I know
Yeah.
it's not typical of a lot of Asian parents and a lot of my Asian friends.
Yeah.
There's also that stereotype of, and there have been children's books about it, right? Like different
Hmm.
ways to say I love you, because
Yeah.
famously, a lot of Asian parents, or I don't know if it's just East Asian, but a lot of Asian parents don't say the words I love you. And
Hmm.
instead,
Yeah.
they show up you by like giving you food or acts of
Yeah.
service. But
Hmm.
my parents both said I love you a lot to all of us.
Yeah. So
So
that's really that. Well, that's very different from mine.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
just, I'll just speak for myself. That's very different from mine. So I think that's really, I guess it is, it's like Ling and Ting, not exactly the
Not
same.
exactly the same. But
Though
yeah.
I do think, I was recently giving a little talk and I remember somehow I got into this. Oh, it's because before the talk, I was talking to this Asian woman who was saying how she and her sister really wanted to do art and they really wanted to do something creative and their parents wouldn't let them. And it was like, and there is this kind of you could still kind of feel this like resentment and like pent up, thwarted like unhappiness about it, you know?
Mm,
And and so I remember during the talk, like after the Q&A part, I was like, if any of you have like kids who are interested in the creative field and you are scared for them and you feel like you should discourage them, like put your burden, your don't put the burden of your own disappointment on them as well. I mean, that's just
hmm.
like it's going to be hard enough to be a creative person. They don't need your disappointment on it as well. So, anyway, I don't know.
We
I've
can
just been
break the
thinking a lot about
cycle,
that a lot. Yes,
basically.
break the cycle.
Yes, but
So,
I mean, it did sound like this. I mean, Ming Na Wen's sounds like her mother maybe as goes beyond the
yeah,
stereotypical, like maybe she's a narcissist or is
yeah.
really, I don't know,
Well,
toxic
there's
in some way.
extremes, right?
Yeah.
There's people who I mean, there's parents that are like yours. There's parents that are like mine who try to be supportive but just don't really understand. And then
Yeah.
there's parents who really just
Are not
like
supportive and in
who
fact
are
try
like
to
just
tear you down.
yes, sounds like what her parents are.
Yeah.
So,
Although, she did have a
which is
follow-up.
really sad.
She did have a follow-up message that said she knows her mother loves her. This is a
Yeah.
complicated, I think sometimes
It's
relationships are
all, oh yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
Ah,
So,
all
but
right. Well,
interesting all the way.
we thought we'd do the more hopeful topic second. So the second topic is about gratitude chains in a way. So this came up. I subscribed to this New York Times newsletter, morning newsletter, and I actually don't always read it, and I actually don't know if it's always written by the same person. But this one was written by author named Melissa Kirsch, and she was talking about her own gratitude practice and how she writes down like three things that she's grateful for. But then she started going a little bit farther, and so she will think of something small. So like she'll say, I'm going to read this now. Say, this weird little deck of wisdom cards that I draw from each morning as a sort of daily fortune cookie. Then I think about how my friend Melanie gave me the deck and how generous and playful she is, and how lucky I am to know her. But I wouldn't know her if I hadn't taught creative writing with her in a summer program in the 1990s. I wouldn't have had that job if my friend Alden hadn't recommended me for it, etc. So, kind of like tracing like the thing that you're grateful for and then tracing back to all of the things that kind of had to happen for you to get that
Yeah.
thing, which
Well, it's like I think that's it's like that book Fluke. We talked about that a
Hmm.
while back, remember? And you were talking about how
Yes.
like Steven would like drink out of a cup and be like, wait, like this cup to get this cup had to be like all these people to make this cup, and then the technology, like the idea to make the cup, and then somebody a million years ago had to figure out like you can take clay, like this mud in the ground and make it into something ceramic. So it is interesting all the flukes you have to do to get to something good.
Yes. And she does talk about how Buddhists have the concept of dependent origination. And in Judaism, there's reorganizing the good. And then Martin Luther King Jr. wrote of an inescapable network of mutuality. I cannot say that word. Um, so I thought it might be fun. I mean, I feel like we've already done this in some ways, but to kind of like take something that we're grateful for and then trace it back. So I guess I always talk about my career. So, I'm like really grateful to have the career and the job that I have. And so, of course, I'm grateful for my boss, Megan, for hiring me. But then if I go back, then I'm grateful for my supervisor at the Hornbook, Jen Brabander, for recommended me to apply to the job. And then I'm grateful for my coworker at Barnes& and Noble, Juliet, for telling me about the Hornbook internship. And then I'm grateful for my that book I bought, Making It in Book Publishing, for recommending me to work at a bookstore. And then I'm grateful for my friend Rich Lin when I was in Taiwan for suggesting that I get into book publishing. And then I was in Taiwan and I know Rich Lin because my parents are from Taiwan and I knew they would support me. But they also told me, like, oh, Rich Lin is in Taiwan at that same program, so you should look out for him. Um, and then, if I even go back to college, I remember I had one class, it was a mass communications class, and we had to write a essay. And my friend John Joe had said, "Oh, I think I'm going to write my report on children's books." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, that's so awesome!" And I ended up doing my senior's thesis on children's books. And so it kind of like all goes, but it all starts with my parents again reading to me as a child. So,
Yeah. But I
so
think it's always interesting how um there's so many for me when I was thinking about it, it's like so many negative things can turn into positive things. And I remember talking to this about with Hazel, especially about Robert dying. And I was like, I was so sad and upset and heartbroken when Robert died. But if he hadn't died, I wouldn't have you, which is the most wonderful thing in the world. Like so it's
mhm.
kind of like so I remember like making it a lesson to her when she, like so remember whenever you feel really sad about something, this it might mean might mean that it's going to turn into something good, and
Yes,
so it might be the thing that triggers something good down the line. So it's always interesting that way because you just
that's
never
true.
know.
It's true. You never know. I've been thinking about that recently about the state of this world and the state of politics, and just thinking, you know what? They always say the only constant is change.
Yeah.
And so right now, all I can do is hope that, I mean, I know it will change, and then I
Yes.
can just hope that it's going to change for the
Changes
better.
better. Yeah.
So,
No. Eventually, like soon. My thing is like it's going to change. I have to hope it's going to change for the better sooner rather than later.
yeah, yeah. Let's hope we don't end up. So another thing I was doing this recently was I was editing, a book, and it's kind of a dystopian book, and it takes place in this kind of future, like 100 years from
Uh-huh.
now, when after World War III, and all this. I was like, let's just hope it doesn't take that long to change for the better.
Yeah, me too. I hope it doesn't take that long.
Yeah. But
So,
anyway, I think this kind of gratitude chain is a good idea to add to your
yeah.
own gratitude practice.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to do mine. Okay. So I was thinking about my career. Okay. So I was
Yes.
thinking from my career, probably starting my career is The Ugly Vegetables, my first published book. And, uh, and so because of The Ugly Vegetables is thanks to Harold Underdown, who is
Hmm.
the editor there who acquired it. And I know Harold Underdown because I sent him postcards of my work when I was at RISD, and I only sent him postcards from of my work at RISD because a teacher there gave me the addresses of different publishing houses. And so I was only at RISD because Sabrina Kwan, a student who was a year older than me, said, "Oh, do you want to go to art school? Like, RISD is the best. My friend goes there. You should go there." And so, which I had never heard of RISD before that. And then, and she only told me that because she saw that I liked drawing and painting and knew that I wanted to be an illustrator. And the reason why I wanted to be an illustrator was because I won fourth place in that book contest that Dave Pilkey won number one. And I only entered that contest because Mrs. Morgan, who was my English teacher in seventh grade, suggested that I enter this contest because she saw that I loved books. And I really loved books because I was really lonely in upstate New York.
Oh,
But that's what I was saying about like
yeah, the
the
negative. Yeah.
negative turned into a positive. So like it's such an interesting like woo woo woo.
Yes.
So I
Up
guess I
and
should be
down.
grateful for being lonely in New York.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of creative people, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, so people are talking about how Taylor Swift's new album isn't as good because she's maybe too happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, sometimes heartbreak leads to the best art.
Yeah, or well, they say that about boredom too. Like being bored
Yeah.
makes good art too. So like boredom is usually not considered a positive state of being, but
Yes.
maybe that's what we need.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but at the SCBWI conference, it wasn't the keynote. It was when Lei Wen Pham and Sophie Blackall were in conversation. So Sophie says boredom is crucial, and she says being idle is crucial. I mean, so it's
Mm.
similar, but maybe slightly different idea. But either way, should probably be idle more and bored more because I am always listening to a podcast. I'm always
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like,
multitasking.
oh, I should run like with nothing, with hearing nothing. I
Yeah, I
think like
mean, well, I guess
maybe,
it's just before like iPhones and before
yeah.
even iPods. I remember the very first marathon I ran, I didn't listen. I just listened to the
Yeah.
crowd, which was great. And actually, the second time I did it, I recommended all of the people on my team to do the same. And I pretty
Mhm.
much also, even though by then I did have like an iPhone, I think I
Uh-huh.
did run with, except like I think there was one like hill I was by myself. I listened to music and that helped. But
Uh-huh.
I am planning to run the marathon again next year
Wow, good for
because it's 10
you.
years. 10 years from the
Wow.
last one, which is wild to think about, but maybe I will try to not listen to audiobooks when I run.
Yeah, I run faster if I listen to music. I don't
Hmm.
run very fast if I'm listening to a podcast or a book.
Yeah.
But so usually when I
Yeah, you need
do,
that beat.
yeah, I need the beat to keep going. So, but I am gonna do the 5K. That's like you run a marathon, I run a 5K.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll do that in December.
All
I
right.
actually Hazel is thinking about running is I think Hazel's gonna run it with me this year. So that'll be
Oh,
exciting.
did she run at all? Has she run?
No. But she said but Anna's kids, Tilly and Hugo, said that they would do it, and she said she would do it if they did it. So I'm gonna start training them all.
Should we do any more of these gratitude chains, or do you
I
think
think
those examples are
I think
enough
those are
for
good.
now? Okay,
Yeah.
but
I think people get
there's
the idea.
countless. Maybe
There's so many
maybe when we
countless.
share our gratefuls, we can do it. See if there's a chain.
Oh
Um,
God.
Fortune cookies.
all right. So for the fortune cookie segment, we just thought we'd do this random. I had sent this to Grace a while ago. So a couple months ago, or maybe, yeah, basically it it came out that there's this I don't know if it's a young adult book, but it's about vampires. A book about vampires smells like garlic, which is so it's a gimmick. So basically they partnered with Hellman's garlic aioli sauce. And to make this book, what is the title of the book? It's by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And the novel is The Primal of Blood and Bone. And they used garlic infused ink to print
Hmm.
1,000 copies of it, uh, which
I wonder
is,
how long the smell lasts for. Like if you keep it closed and in case maybe it stays for a long time.
I don't know. I mean, I am curious how strong the smell is. There's an article about it in The Guardian. and it does say that this is a stunt targeted at the army of romantasy readers on Book Talk, which is the corner of TikTok devoted to books and reading. Um, and I mean, it is a fun gimmick.
It's funny and it gets your I do think that there's an ending line in that article. It's like anything that gets people excited about reading is fine. And
Yes.
in a way I kind of agree, but at the same time I hope it does not become a trend. Like sprayed edges is one thing, like yes, but like I cannot imagine going into a bookstore and being like, "Oh, flowers
Garlic.
over here, dead body smell over there."
Oh my gosh.
Like Chinese food over there. Like
Oh
I
my
think that would
gosh.
be
Like imagine a special edition of Chinese menu that
it
smells
was
like
like
chop
I know, and
suey or
every
something.
it'd be like I think
I
in
would
some
buy that.
I think it'd be really interesting. But I can't imagine I don't think I would want it to be in a bookstore. Like I think
Yeah. Like,
it
and
would
I wonder if it's going to be more of a, because if it's only of 1,000, I wonder if it's,
yeah, it feels like something that maybe you special order and like they only send out, like
yeah.
I could deal with that. But I couldn't deal with a bookstore of smelly books.
Yeah.
Well, also, I don't know how strong it is. Is it just like scratch and sniff? Remember those old scratch and sniff books? Like those weren't really I mean, you had to like really get up close
Right.
to
And
the
those are only, mostly it's just on the cover, right? I
it was
think.
no, there would be like a little sticker and you
Oh,
have to
right.
scratch the sticker and smell it. So I mean, if it was like that, I could
Hmm.
deal with it. I don't know if you'd scratch the type or something.
Well, it sounds like, well, those markers that we loved when we were
Oh
kids, which
yeah, uh-huh,
probably still exist, that smelled like grape and cherry. And
uh-huh.
so, I mean, I guess the marker smelled, if you drew with it, like, did the actual,
Yeah.
like, what you
And
drew
I used to
smell?
love those.
Right. So, I mean, it is the ink. So, I don't think you have to scratch it. I think it's
Yeah.
just infused in the ink. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's almost, well, I guess if it's only on the inside, if you close it,
yeah.
does the smell go away?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious. Well, you remember I told you a long time ago they did this study that if people are reading a book with like a warm beverage in their
Oh,
hand,
right.
they like
Then,
the book better. Like I'm curious if you read a book with a pleasant smell, if that makes you like the book better. That's an
right.
interesting thing
And
that
if you
somebody should do.
read a book with an unpleasant smell like garlic, although
Yeah.
I like the smell of
Some people
garlic.
might like it, but
Yeah.
then the problem is that some people smells are so personal, right? Like some people might think that the smell of roses is like lovely, but some people are like, oh, it smells like old people, like I don't know. Like so
Yeah.
like my so it'd be interesting to see
Yes. Is this going to be the next sprayed edge
sprayed
spreads?
edge. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope well, it depends on how they do it. I kind of hope not for like mass consumption, like the way sprayed edges have become. But if it
Right.
becomes like a very limited, like 1,000 book, and you like, then I think it's kind of funny and
Yeah.
fun.
I
Like,
mean, it
like I
is
could see
true.
like the secret garden. It smells like flowers. Like I was like, I'd be interested in that. Like,
What other
or
of your
like
books?
like Anne
Mooncake
of Green
smell.
Gables smells like raspberry cordial.
Turkish
Maybe like
Delight, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe smells like Turkish
yeah.
Delight.
I don't know,
Whatever
like
that smells
any
like.
of my like only Chinese menu could smell like Chinese food. Or like where the mountain
Could
meets the moon could smell like tea. I don't know.
Big Mooncake could smell like
Could,
mooncake.
red bean or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Where
But
the Big Bed for Little Snow could smell like snow. Smells like ice. I don't know.
mint or something. The
Yes.
ugly vegetables could smell like soup.
Yes.
So,
I know.
yeah,
Now I'm looking at I
fortune
don't
cookies could smell like
yeah, that's
could smell like
true.
cookies or something. So, I mean, there's so many books these days with especially the diverse books. Like Allison was saying, like there's so many books about food,
Food.
especially with grandparents, like grandparents and food. Like that's a big diverse kind of trend. So that if all of them were smelly, like then we'd have like,
Kimchi.
yeah,
Yeah.
just don't do one on a corpse flower, someone.
I know. We'll see what's next. Anyway, if you're curious to read more, the article in The Guardian, the headline is A Vampire Novel That Smells of Garlic? Well, if it gets people reading, dot, dot,
Yeah,
dot.
I guess that's the whole thing too. We're just trying to get people to read and to
Yeah.
purchase books and to keep our our industry going.
Yes. I have hope. I have hope.
Things
We gotta
change,
have
and
hope.
it's going to change for the better, right?
Yes. All right. So now we'll end as we always do with what we're grateful for.
I
I
just
just
realized we didn't do a tell me about. Did you want to do a tell me about?
I feel like we don't always do one when we have two topics, but
Okay. All right,
anyway,
let's skip it.
Alex, cut that off. And now we'll end as we always do with what we're grateful for. I can start this week. So I am grateful that early voting is available because, I could just vote at our leisure and it's not too crowded. And I'm also always grateful that I can vote in such a beautiful space like the Brooklyn Museum. And I guess if we did the gratitude ladder or whatever gratitude chain, I don't know. I have to to get early voting, there had to have been a law that was passed.
Well, and women had to be able to vote. I mean,
Yeah,
so.
that's true. And then I had to live in on Eastern Parkway to vote at the Brooklyn Museum. So,
Mhm.
it's funny. Some listeners might know I before I lived in my current apartment, I had rented a block away. So I lived on the same street, but a block away. And so my regular polling place was the Brooklyn Museum. But when I moved a block where I am now, my regular polling place changed. So my polling place became, a school, which is, I feel like a typical. And I was really, really sad because I'm like, oh, I miss voting at the Brooklyn Museum. And then, then now they make early voting at the Brooklyn Museum. So I can vote at the Brooklyn Museum again. Anyway,
Yay.
Grace, what are you grateful for?
I guess I will have to say that I'm grateful for my husband, Alex, because he was so patient this morning about the 3 hour saga of
3 hour saga.
of getting fingerprints. And also for the IKEA. I mean, he's the one who put the bureau together. I think I probably wouldn't have done it myself. I mean, maybe I would have, but it would have taken me a long, long time. Like we bought it and he like put it together the next day. Like so like I feel like he's like a real true partner, which is
Yeah.
really, really lovely. Because I feel like not I mean, I have a lot of great friends who have great partners, but I've seen lots of people who don't have great partners, and I
Hmm.
feel bad because everyone deserves to have a great partner, and I hope that I'm a good partner to him. So
Yes. And I know you've talked about the gratitude chain about Alex before.
yes,
So I guess
then yeah, it's like all the way back. So yeah,
okay. We are grateful for Alex. I am also grateful for Alex for editing this podcast.
yes.
Okay, so that was the two topics, Asian parents and gratitude chains episode. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Alex at Pacey Work Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend about it.
And tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever, or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast, or via our website, bookfriendsforever.com. And please join our Patreon. The link is in the show notes.
I'm Alvina Ling. You can find me at Planet Alvina on TikTok and at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And I'm Grace Lin. You can find me at Pacey Lin on Instagram and Threads, and author Grace Lin on Facebook and Blue Sky.
Have a great week.
And don't forget to read. Bye!